Hey everyone, and welcome to the Doctors Running Podcast, where we, a group of doctors of physical therapy, talk about the art and the science of the things we put on our feet. Today, it is myself and Dr. David Salas on the podcast, and we are going to have a marathon shoe discussion just because the fall marathon season is coming up. It is currently late August, getting ready to become September here very, very quickly, and I know that because I start the school year tomorrow, which is going to be really, really interesting. But a lot of people are gearing up for marathons. And so right about now, you should be thinking about making a decision about what kind of shoe to put on your feet, as opposed to waiting for the week beforehand when who knows what can happen. So we're going to have a discussion about that, talk about how we are going to attempt to stratify this and help to think about the individual runner, because each runner is going to be totally different. There's going to be a lot of variation in that. But before we do that, of course, we're going to talk about the shoes that we are currently have on our feet and are currently testing. And this is supported by Skratch Labs, who does some amazing product stuff. As always, if you're interested in trying in their product, you can use our discount code for your first ever on your first ever order. And I know it's first ever because I have not been able to use it again, and that's unfortunate, but I still keep buying stuff.
Off your first order.
Yeah, off your first order. So if you write all lowercase, all one word, Doctors of Running, you will get 25% off your first order. And that hasn't stopped me from buying more stuff. And I'm going to say this again, as I got made fun about this the last time I was on here, is that the prototype watermelon flavor is awesome. This is not part of this, but I don't know if they still have any left, but if they have any left, if you spend $50 on product, they throw that in for free. And I've done this now 3 times. Because I need a lot of it, because I've realized as I have gotten older and I'm pushing a 60-pound stroller that I need to hydrate quite extensively throughout the day. And I'm surprised, feel a lot better while I'm running when I do that. So we like Skratch Labs because they tend to have very natural stuff. It sits well in the stomachs, and there's some really great science behind what they're doing. But let's move on. David, what shoes do you have on your feet and what are you testing right now?
Yeah, so just wrote the written review today for the Rabbit High Country. So that is a trail shoe, the Rabbit's first trail shoe, second shoe that they've made. I've got mixed feelings about it. I like it, but there's things that I think could be better. This is not a review on the shoe currently, but I will say from a structure and like a stability standpoint, the shoe does feel really secure. The traction was surprisingly good. The upper I thought could be more comfortable, but it did hold your foot in place. And then they had the Blue Maca insole on the inside with a little bit of traction. I was a little nervous about getting hot spots on it. I know we tried some like way back when they were first getting developed. This one's actually better than the one that we tried. And I actually did feel like it held my foot pretty well. I felt like I could trust the platform. So like from a security standpoint, these shoes actually were really good. I think the heel could be beveled a little bit more, felt a little bit sloppy through the midfoot. I actually really liked the forefoot, a little bit of weight to it, kind of a resilient bounce to it. Not a huge one, just kind of a nice rhythmic compliancy to it. So I feel like, and this shoe's meant for kind of more longer efforts. When they did their whole like promotional launch thing, they ran it rim to rim. I could see this being the type of effort where this falls, where you're just going to be out there all day. You're going to be doing a little bit of running and walking. You're not running very fast, I feel like the shoe actually is pretty good. I just think there's a couple of things they could clean up, but written review, it should be dropping by the time this airs. And then coming up for next week, I'm going to be kind of a trail boy this week, I guess, but we've got a couple of ultra shoes on the docket. So we'll be running those. These are fresh and clean, not dirty like the other shoes I held up. So we'll have some first impressions on those potentially too in the next couple of days. That's the Olympus 275 and the Experience Wild. So yeah.
Sweet. All right. So I've got one that I've been testing for a while. I still haven't written a review, although I think Nathan got reviews. I've got the A6 Mega Blast here. I'm really enjoying. I have almost 100 miles on my pair, so I'll definitely do at least 100-mile video review. Whether I'll contribute to the written, we'll have to see. But I will say this is my left shoe, and at a little over, I think it's 85 miles I'm at right now, it's still intact. So far, so good. Definitely kind of like what I was hoping for from the Super Blast 2. Actually, lighter. It's not flexible, but it's just as it's broken in just a teensy bit where it doesn't feel overly stiff. And the ATPU foam, the Flight Foam Blast Turbo Squared, is much better now that it's broken in. I don't think
there's a blast. I think it's just Turbo Squared.
You're right. It's Flight Foam Turbo Squared.
Yeah.
Maybe there will be a Blast
part
Squared.
Of the Blast series. Yeah. Or well, not the Blast Max.
How do you pronounce my favorite shoe? Am I going to screw this up? Kayano. Did I get that?
Cayano.
Close enough. All right. Anyway, Peter, I'm thinking about you. The foam took a bit to break in, where at first I'm like, this doesn't feel special. And I actually had the exact same experience with the new Metaspeed Tokyos, where I was just like, this is not, it's like weirdly firm. I don't like this. And then give it like 30, 40 miles. And I went, oh, now I see. Now it's got some bounce. Now I'm getting the phone softening a little bit and I'm getting into it. Now I'm really enjoying these. And so it's been a great shoe. And this might show up a little bit later. The other shoe that I just finally started getting miles on is a Mizuno Wave Sky 9, which Isabella put that in there. For those listening on audio, Isabella is putting all kinds of toys in the shoes, including I found a chicken actually in one.
Hey, there you go. You got a little chicken there. That's cool.
But yeah, the Wave Sky 9 is interesting because really good cushioning, ton of it. It's a more responsive shoe than I feel like soft, which I really, really like because it makes it feel lighter than its massive size. The upper's really snug though. So that's something I'm having to get used to at the moment. So breaking that in, we'll hopefully have a review. And the final one, which we should have a review up this week, so before this podcast comes out, is the Takumi Sen 9. Takumi Sen 11. I'm thinking about the Adios 9, which I also have and haven't written a review of. I'm really enjoying this shoe. I haven't worn a super shoe for the last 3 weeks since I irritated my Achilles tendon, and I put this on for a very short tempo run the other day and didn't bother me at all. There's no real heel counter back here. And it's just this nice, simple shoe. It's finally soft enough where it feels more super, but it's still on the lighter end and not crazy, not the super stack. It's more of a moderate stack height shoe. It's definitely not low to the ground. But I'm really enjoying how they set up the new Light Strike Pro. And yeah, considering even racing in it and potentially trying to get some more miles on it while I ease back into super shoes, just to make sure I rehab my Achilles the right way. But that's what's on our feet. Just got a box with Puma shoes actually that showed up, but I haven't opened it yet. So that's to be determined because they're not actually on my feet. So anyway, ready to talk about marathon shoes.
Almost. I will give a shout out the CLE short sleeve, not on my feet, but on, well, this is an Asics top. This is actually a really nice one too. But the CLE short sleeve, I got to get the exact model name, but they had sent one previously back. It's one of their running tops and it's becoming like maybe my favorite running shirt. I've been wearing it quite a bit when I go out running. That, and then I'm looking at it over there, the Racing Asics short sleeve top. I don't know exactly what the material is called, but the ventilated one with the bright colors? Yeah, that one's pretty sweet. I do like that one. I was running in the trails with that today, and I feel like it does wick the moisture really well, and it doesn't get saturated very easily. So I was pretty sweaty, and it wasn't drenched. That's
a big deal.
So I liked that. And the CLA one does the same thing, where I feel like I got to get really sweaty for that thing to show. So, or for me to feel it. So just a couple shout outs for some apparel pieces there. But
sweet.
Now I am ready. Let's do it.
All right. So let's talk about marathon shoes and how to choose a marathon shoe. This is very different. And so David and I, just to give our credentials here, have both run a couple marathons. What is your marathon? What's your range of marathons that you've run in terms of paces?
Pace wise?
Yeah, or like a finish time.
5:32, 5:33.
Yeah, finish time.
From 2:25 up to that one time I blacked out, I think it was like a 2:45.
Got it. I've run a couple. I paced. My first marathon was actually pacing the women's elite field at CIM, so I ran 2:44 on the dot to qualify for the then to help people qualify for the then standard of sub 2:45. The second one I ran was against my will because my wife signed me up at LA, and I ran 2:32. The third one I ran 2:35 and was not prepared, and that was horrible, but I survived and didn't die after finishing all my finals for my first semester PhD the night before. So we've got a little range, but we've also got testers on our team that we're thinking about also that go up into the 3 hour and above range. We've had a variety of people finish at a variety of times. We're thinking not just about ourselves, although we're going to present some shoes that if we were putting ourselves in different places, what shoes we would choose. But we've had a good number of marathons under our belt. I can't say I necessarily want to do another one, but that might change in a bit as I much more enjoy the 5K, 10K, and occasional half marathon. Although the last one I did, I thought I was going to die, but that might be because I was pushing a stroller. So maybe post stroller, people think. But so the marathon is a very different beast than choosing a shoe for a 5K, right? A 5K, it's going to be over if anywhere for most people, like even at the fast send, 14 minutes for the hour, most people, unless you're like elite, going up to your 20, 25, 30 minute mark, it's going to be over. That's compared to the marathon, which even if you are the fastest of the fastest, it's still going to take you 2 hours. If you're really quick, it's going to be 2:30 to 3-ish. You're starting to get more into where most people are in the 3:30, 4-hour mark. People are going to be out there on their feet for a very, very long period of time. So, David, before we jump into some of the categories and going where we're going to talk about, when you think a marathon shoe, what goes through your head?
Yeah, so a lot can go wrong. You don't want this shoe to be the thing that goes wrong. So I think predictability, it's a shoe is one of the few things you can control to some degree, assuming the laces don't come untied or something weird happens, But if it's tried and it's true and it's something you trust, I mean, that's kind of the big thing, building trust with a certain shoe that you feel comfortable going long in. And that doesn't necessarily have to be a super shoe, right? Like I've known people that have run pretty fast marathons, not in super shoes, but yeah, something that you trust, something that you can get going, you can turn over, but you can still kind of settle into a rhythm and a pace because ultimately you're going to be racing for over 2 hours, like you said. So even if you're doing an all-out marathon, you're
if not
still
3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if you're going all out, you're going to be out there for a while. So you're going to have to be able to settle into some kind of a rhythm because this isn't the type of race where you can just kind of go out really hard and just hope it hangs on. It's just not going to happen that way. Right. So I think tried, true, trusted. I think those are kind of the things that go through my head. Don't take any drastic chances unless you know your body and you feel really good about the shoe. I actually did do that within the month when we got the Saucony Endorphin Elite 1. And I was like, wow, I like this shoe. But I had taken it on an 18-mile run that day. And I was like, I think that this is going to work, and then I did one more workout in it and then I raced in it.
So that goes into our next point of going, how do you know if a shoe is going to work for you? And the reason we're actually doing this episode is we've gotten a lot of mail recently, which if you emailed us and we responded, appreciate the patience. If we haven't responded, know that we get a ton of emails and we are trying to get to as many of them as we possibly can. But one of the common ones has been like, hey, there was an email about the Puma Fastar 3 the other day going, hey, I haven't tried this on. I want to save the bounciness, but I don't actually want to like, how do I know if it's right for me over a marathon distance? And the response was, you gotta take this out, in my opinion, and you can agree or disagree with me, David. You've got to be able to get at least one long run in the shoe and hopefully a workout and probably as much as you can.
Or a long run workout.
Yeah, long run workout, some combination just to know, can your body handle that shoe for longer distances? Some kind of simulation where you're going, what does it do at the speeds I'm going to be holding? What does it do at the distances before you go in? Now, I think a lot of elite runners will get a brand new pair of the shoe they've been training in, but they still know the shoe. Like they know the essence of it. Could it be a little bit more broken in? Yeah, but they want the fresh thing, but they know that shoe. It's very rare. I know it does happen that people put on a shoe they've never worn before and everything goes well. Because at the end of the day, it's a risk, right? There's a risk-benefit ratio that you have to choose. And if we're going to talk about finishing that race, and because if you don't finish, it doesn't matter how fast you run, the time still doesn't count. So generally you want something you've got some experience with. And David gave again an example. You're like, I got it. It's within the month, but you're like, I got a long run. I got a workout in, and I know now that I put it through the test that my body can handle this. And I'm willing to take the next step of going, let's use it. So you do need experience with the shoe. We highly suggest you do that. The minimum being a long run or long run workout beforehand. And I would say, especially as your time increases. So as we get to the, 3:30, 4, 5, 6 hour, you absolutely need to pick a shoe that you are comfortable in for that long. Because again, you're going to be out there for a very, very long time. This is a less of a conversation about speed. It's time on feet. And I will tell you, most super shoes out there, I would not want to have on my feet for multiple hours. It's just, they're not comfortable enough, right? Now, if you're talking about a really fast effort, that might be a different consideration. So that's kind of how we're thinking about stratifying this and going, hey, just so you know, and kind of the big thing to take away from this is you don't have to choose a super shoe for for every single person, right? Different people have different needs. We're going to make some comments about, and David just mentioned this, right? You're going to make some comments about, some of the people that are running some faster times going, maybe these are some of the super shoes you might want to think about, but there's lots of people in that category that have run some really fast marathon times that are using daily trainers or lightweight trainers. That's totally fine. Just like we're going to talk about the opposite end of the spectrum, people doing the 4, 5, 6 hour marathon, that we're probably going to suggest you might want to be thinking about a daily trainer that you do most of your runs in. But there are people out there that are doing those times and they comfortably run in a like Vaporfly 3, which, is not something I would do, but there's a lot of people that are doing that. So we're going to give you some general advice based on the fact that most of these shoes are tested with certain paces in mind. The Vaporfly was not really tested with the 4-hour marathoner in mind. It was tested going 230, 220, 210, 5K pace, all this kind of stuff. And so that's where we're going. It's kind of like using the tool as it was designed. You can certainly take it and do it for something else, but you got to do that at your own risk. Any thoughts on that, David?
Yeah, I think when we look at racing shoes and we look at design, I mean, yes, they got to sell shoes to the masses, but at the end of the day, a lot of them are going for performance. They're going for medals. They want their shoe to be seen on their athletes when they do well. Those athletes run pretty fast. And I would argue a lot of those shoes are being designed, at least from a design standpoint, to go run 430 miles for 26 miles, right? Like they're trying to go low 2s or under, because we're knocking on that doorstep. One of these days, someone's going to do it. R.I.P. Kelvin Kiptum. It seemed like he was going to be the chosen one. But
on a legal course, because we know Kipchoge did it, but it wasn't a legal course and it wasn't official. Yeah,
the course probably would have been legal if it wasn't for all the other stuff.
All the factors.
The interchanging pacers in the car and
must be nice. Yeah,
but if they just like straight up measured it and ran it like an actual race, I have a feeling I don't think the course would have been illegal.
Probably not,
because it was just loops around that place. So but illegal conditions, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, when they designed, now that was AlphaFly 1. Was that what they built that for?
I think so. Yeah.
Now we're on AlphaFly 3 and Vaporfly 4, right? So that shoe was designed to go Sub-2 then. And so they want these shoes to go fast. And that's with the considerations and the mechanics of those that represent those shoes. They don't run like you and I. That's not to say that you and I can't wear them, right? But you just got to ask yourself if shoes work for your mechanics. Are they comfortable? Are they battle tested? But I will say from a design standpoint, they want to go fast. They're going to design them to go fast. And they'll still do a myriad of tests across different ranges. They won't just be, super fast paces. But I think the other thing too that I would like to touch on, and I know we'll touch on this later just based on the topics we have, but the experience that you feel and want. And what I mean by that is like, are you trying to go fast? Are you trying to go out there, run a PR, run as fast as you can, and you're putting that effort into it? Because that will change your stride and your gait pattern and the amount of force you're putting into the ground. Time isn't the only data point here, right? Like me running 3 hours will look very different than someone else running 3 hours. And the time could be exactly the same and the footwear choice could be wildly different. And it's really just based on like the experience you want and do you trust the shoe. So we'll get into all that stuff. But did that go on too big of a rant there? I feel like
no, absolutely. I think that actually helps because David and I were talking about how we're going to stratify this before recording this, and experience is actually a really important thing to think about, right? Like, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a PR? Are you looking to get the most? Like, are you just trying to barely survive getting over that finish line, or are you looking to finish? Are you just looking to have a good time? Are you not really worried about time? Are you worried about being able to go out there? And this is great to be able to enjoy the scenery and take a photo and all that kind of stuff. That there are different expectations, things that people are going to want out of this. And that's kind of what we're thinking. Because not every shoe is going to be appropriate for all three of those. And that's because that's not what it's designed for, right? Kayano.
Now just say it a little quicker.
Cayano, is going to be designed for, those, if you're going to use that for a marathon, and you totally could, that's not going to be your PR shoe. It's going to be your, I trust this. I'm going to like take this out. This is my really comfortable long run shoe. I've done lots of miles in this shoe. I trust it. It's the shoe that I grab every time I do my long run when I'm prepping for this. It's what I do a lot of my daily miles in. I know this shoe. It's comfortable. I'm going to finish. Okay. Compared to your Asics Metaspeed Sky, which may even be a completely different person going, I'm trying to maintain a certain, like a fast pace for a certain amount of time. I have stable enough mechanics to use this thing. I can handle this. That's, and then I've grinded this thing out. I don't use it for all my runs. I use it for very specific runs where I'm really testing and running really fast. It's different runners, but that person also might be the same person. It might be just depending on the experience that they want, right? Nathan just ran a half marathon using the Super Blast 2. That makes total sense. That is also a shoe that although I'd probably use the Mega Blast now, as I talked about earlier, but that's a shoe of like, I'm just going out there for a long run. That's going to be my top choice. It's comfortable. I've used it for a ton of long runs. I know what to expect from that shoe. I know how it responds. I know how it changes over some decent mileage, both during a run and outside of a run. And so I trusted enough to go, yes, this is going to get me through this and finish, versus if I theoretically was going to go try to run, times that I had previously, although I'm probably going to be pushing the stroll at the same time, the same effort, that was going to look very, very different. So how would you stratify the different groups we're going to talk about?
Yeah, I think it's probably easiest to start at the faster end.
Okay.
I think if you're running Sub-3, you're running fast enough, right? And if you're running Sub-3 and you are way faster than that, then you're the outlier in this, but most people running Sub-3 are going to be putting effort into it. That's where you're going to most likely be looking into your speedier shoes that have some stack and cushion and a rocker and all the things that you see in the super shoes, right? Like that's one of the reasons why they've blown up as big as they are. So I've got 3 shoes right here. Yeah. Well, if I was to run a marathon tomorrow, shoot, I don't even know if I'd wear a super shoe. Right, I
would definitely not. I'd wear the Mega Blast because I did a long run in this morning. And but that's a different story. Or
assuming I'm in shape, though.
Do you want to start with the like, hey, if we literally had to run one tomorrow, what would you wear? Like just trying to survive.
Like tomorrow, immediately, like with my given shape right now.
Let's start with that. That's more fun. We'll do the fast stuff later. If you had to finish a marathon tomorrow, what would you choose? What would be your top 3 choices?
Or am I going to try and go quick?
No, you're trying to finish.
Just finish?
You think you could go quick tomorrow?
I mean, quick being like 3 hours or a little under. What is that? Like low 7s, high 6s?
Okay, fine. Yeah, let's do that. Let's start in the middle first. Yeah, so if you're going to go do
versus
that tomorrow,
like just going easy, like that would look different.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I'll just give you both right now, probably.
Okay. No, just do one. Give me your top 3. If you have to run tomorrow, you're not jogging, you're still going to put a little effort, but it's definitely not going to be your all-out fastest. You've prepared for this effort.
Actually, this kind of lines up a little bit with what we're going to talk about.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I am putting a little bit of oomph into it.
Yep.
Okay. I've got 3 shoes potentially that I can think of. I don't have all of them on me. One of them, ironically, would be the Saucony Endorphin Elite 1 because it still ran pretty stable for me.
Got it.
I trusted it even at paces that weren't 5:30.
Okay.
And it's one of the few shoes where I felt like I could do that. That are super shoes. Am I all blurry on your screen? I feel like
a little bit, yeah.
Camera focus. There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
Nate taught me that trick. And then the only so that one I'll just say right off the bat, I trust that shoe. I feel like in most situations I probably would just wear it.
Okay.
Now the other ones, this one just got here. You held it up earlier. It's the Asics Mega Blast. I think it's responsive, but it's still forgiving enough, and I feel like there's just enough structure on it to where I can settle into rhythm and trust that it's going to take care of me and still run a little bit fast, right?
Yep.
And then the other one, and this is going to be kind of a wild card. I don't think you're going to see
Sweet.
this one coming, but it's probably the Nike Zoom Fly.
No, that makes total sense. Yeah.
Like a structured Zoom X plated option. You know, I can get going a little bit, but it still fits and rides like a trainer, right?
Yep.
Like if my mechanics start to break down and I start getting a little bit tired, I'll still be okay. Like that's where some of these super shoes have a hard time, where like, let's say you have something like the Endorphin Elite 2 here. Really soft, really compliant foam.
Yeah.
It's super energetic. I mean, don't get me wrong. The shoe's so responsive. But when you start getting really tired, you might start fighting that platform a little bit. And that thing might start getting unstable on you if it's not battle tested. If it works for you, then you're great. But I think for me right now, I'm going to stay away from those. I want a little bit more structure. And that's funny because I said Endorphin Elite 1 and then I held up Endorphin Elite 2.
Yeah,
that was not by design when I made that conversation. But that also shows you the differences between models sometimes, where like if I was fast and I was in shape, I could run in the Endorphin Elite 2. But right now I'm not fast. I'm not in shape. So I'm going to opt for something that can go a little bit fast, but has structure to it.
I'm impressed. So, I would not be able to survive a marathon in the Endorphin Elite 2. I would die. My hips would explode.
Well, I said Endorphin Elite 1 would be my choice.
Yeah, I know. I'm agreeing with you. I agree with you. Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and then the other wild card, I wouldn't actually choose it, but I could totally see it being on the table, would be the Mizuno Wave Neo Vista 2. There we go.
Yeah, sweet.
I almost said Zen. I was like, I know it's not Zen. I know it's not Zen. Vista.
Yeah. So what?
And it's in the same category. It's in the same, kind of like lightweight trainer with the responsive new generation foam, but it's still a little bit more training friendly.
Got it. So you've chosen for this category. And so what kind of time do you think you'd be shooting for?
I mean, I'd like to run Sub-3 if I'm racing, but I'm bracing myself for the reality of 3 to 3:30.
Got it. Okay.
Like starting conservative and then hoping I can cut down or stay even. But if I blow up, I'm still okay.
Got it. So this is going to be in your training paces, right? It's not necessarily your typical like all out PR race pace. And there's the combination going, I might be going a little quicker. I might also be going in my usual running pace, right? So that's why you're choosing that. And you're choosing it because these are lightweight. You've been able to do training paces and long runs in them correctly. And you're thinking long term. Is there anything I didn't hit on that influences your decision for these 3 or 4?
Yeah. I think the other thing I think of is smooth long run shoe.
Yep.
I can just see myself getting into rhythm, just going to work. We always joke, it's like, shut up and go to sleep. Like, just like I can do that. Agreed. I feel like in those shoes, I could picture myself doing that in the race.
Yep. I totally agree. So my top 3 is going to be very similar. And I think this is your, maybe getting a little bit into the Sub-3, but that like 3 to 4 hour-ish, right? Like you've got more experience, you're going a little bit quicker, but you also might be running at your kind of training pace. You've spent a lot of time here. This is, for a lot of people, going to be really challenging, but it's not going to be your, 245, 230, you're like really, really top level. You still need to have, in my opinion, a shoe that's going to be better for you, something that is a good long run shoe, right? And it's a good shoe that's not the heaviest. It's not your recovery jog shoe, but it's still something that you can do that with. And so I'm going to do the same one that you just did because I've done everything in it, is the Mega Blast that I really like because it's not plated. It's a little stiff, but it's not too stiff. And if you want something stiffer, that's where something like the Super Blast will come in. I think these are both really excellent. I just hit the mic with my shoelace. Sorry for that noise. But what I like about both these shoes is that, the Super Blast 2 is a little bit more stable. The Mega Blast is just a little softer, transitions a little better. And I like it a lot better, but it's also got just enough room to feel like it's not going to bug my feet over a long run, but it's also not really heavy. So I've done pretty much every long run the last couple of weeks in this shoe I've gone a variety of paces. I've gone sub 6 minute pace in this shoe while pushing a stroller. I've run 8 to 9 minute pace during like easy runs in this. It can do everything. It's durable. I like the foam and I trust it in like longer efforts when I'm getting into that, close to 2 hour mark and going, okay, is it still comfortable? And the answer is yes, it's still comfortable. So I can still move a little bit in it. And that's where I think a lot of these shoes are really excellent for a lot of people. Whereas, some of the super shoes I'm going to say this may not be appropriate for everyone. There's a lot of people that can run in them. There's people running 5 hour marathons in some of them, but I don't think it's appropriate for everyone. These are a really great alternative that you can still turn over with. And because I've done tempos, intervals in it too. The second one is going to be very controversial because I know a lot of people don't necessarily like this shoe. I love it. The Endorphin trainer is really a great shoe. It's been awesome. Yeah. I have over 100 miles in it.
I still need to try that one.
I love the balance of the Incrediron and the EVA foam here. It worked a lot better for me than the Endorphin Elite 2, where just so much Incrediron, I couldn't do it. It was too soft. This is balanced really nicely. Done long runs, done every kind of workout imaginable. It's not as light as a lot of the shoes like the Mega Blast, but it doesn't stop it from being responsive. I've done everything down to like 200s in this shoe, done everything up to 15, 16-mile long runs pushing a stroller. It's been fine, and it's comfortable over those longer distances. Nice, airy mesh. It fits really, really well. Be a little careful, though. I can get some little abrasions on the lateral, on the fifth toe. But outside of that, it's really comfortable, and it's something that I trust both going easy and both going up tempo. And so that's going to be my third option there for that reason. The other shoe that I'm thinking about, and I would not have chosen this in the past, but I'm choosing it now, and it's going to be some reason why some people don't like it, is the Endorphin Speed 5. And so this version, the previous version, I probably wouldn't have suggested as much because it was a little bit firmer, a little bit more aggressive. This version's really changed where it's less aggressive. It's softer. It's got a lot more lateral bias, which has worked very, very well for me. And so I think for that reason, it's similar thing to the last two. It's comfortable. I've used it on long runs. If I wanted a little bit less shoe compared to the other two, I would choose this one. It's still got some bounce. It can still do some up-tempo workouts. It does very well at longer, consistent efforts. And it's not the heaviest shoe. It's not always the most fun on easy runs, but it can do it. So that would be my third one that I would choose, again, because it's that lightweight trainer-ish. It's got some versatility. I'm going to be able to put down some decent times without killing myself over the race course. So if I had to go run tomorrow, those would probably be my top three that I'd be thinking about for those reasons. And so again, I think for a lot of people in that 3 hour, 3:30, 4-ish hour area, I think these are a really, really good place to be. And I think for a lot of people, even into like 250-ish area, like that might still be a really, really good consideration because again, if you wear the lightest possible shoe, great, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to finish. That's what's so different about the marathon compared to other distances where you got it. There's a lot of other factors. And are you comfortable having that thing on your feet for 2 hours? And can you hold on to that pace for 2 hours? And I personally, at the paces we're talking right now, would rather have something that I know and trust and is comfortable that can go a little bit faster. And so that's why I think in this middle realm, that's what we're suggesting and kind of some good shoes to think about.
Yeah, I think we had really similar answers, actually, which would make sense. And you're actually in better running shape than I am right now.
I just never change. I'm just like hanging on for dear life, trying not to lose anymore while pushing the stroller. All right. So we are talking about those people that like, especially there's a variety of people that fit in this category, but we're talking about your 3:30, 4 hour, 5, 6 hour plus range of people who are going. And again, you might be going for a PR, but you are running very different paces and you are going to be on your feet for a very, very long time compared to the group that we just talked about and the elite group that is like really starting to run in those really, really fast paces for them. Not saying what you're doing is not fast, just saying that you're going to be out there for a really long time. So you have very different stresses. And there's some actually really interesting evidence on this in terms of like nutrition timing. Totally different, by the way, for those that are in the 3:30, 4, 5, 6 hour range than those in the like 2:40, 2.5, 2:15, because there's totally different times. If you're on your feet for that long, there's different tissue damage that you got to think about. Your long runs have to be different because you do need to expose your body to be out there for that long. And you're going to need to be taking a lot more nutrition just because you're out on the course for a lot longer period. There's other factors you have to think about. So with that in mind, we're talking more about, is recreational runner the right term for this? I feel like
I don't think so.
That's not the right term.
I don't like the word recreational runner because it's like
we're both recreational runners. So,
we're both recreational. Yeah. I think of someone like, let's say Nate, right? Where it's like he's doing it because he likes to and it's fun, but he still wants time out of it, right? Yeah. Like, there's a certain point where there's people that are just doing it to do it because they like it. And they don't necessarily want time. They like the group that's running for completion, right? Where like they want to do it because they want to do it. They want to run a marathon. They don't really care what's on the clock.
That's
they just
not
want
always
to go out there and do it.
right. There's a lot of people that will do it for participation. There's still a large portion of this group that are looking to PR.
And there are,
right?
yeah.
Right. But I think the major difference is the fact that you're on your feet for this long is going to warrant some differences.
Yeah. And there'll be some overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you be thinking about if, so again, we're thinking.
Yeah. 4 hours.
Yeah. We're thinking 4 hours and above. And we're putting you in this situation. You have to go run a marathon this evening.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And 4 hour marathon.
Yes.
Like I'm just scooting along and just
trying to just survive.
Yeah. I think that's when I start looking away from those super shoes, right?
Yep.
Like I start looking at shoes that I trust, that are reliable, that just feel comfortable for being on my feet for long periods of time, and shoes that have mechanics that work with me. I actually have 6 shoes right here. I won't go into all of them, but I'll at least highlight them very, very briefly. I'll just say for the first one, I think, because you already said it, this would be the shortest one. If you have like stability considerations and it's a trusted, reliable shoe, the gel Kayano.
Absolutely.
I almost buffed that.
Yeah.
You're rubbing off on me. Like,
sorry. So I'm going to jump in right now that I totally agree with the Kayano, just because it's such this is my stability shoe of the year. Nothing has come close to this.
It might be mine. We'll
Sweet.
see.
Yeah. It's definitely taken over from the GT 2014, which I will do a comparison review, and I am not enjoying that shoe, even though I have 70 miles on it. It's not been fun. It's going to work for a different person than me, but it's just got a great upper. The sole is not mushy, but it's well cushioned. It just feels good for getting out for long miles. I've done a lot of long runs in this shoe, and I trust it from everything from a recovery run to a long run. I know what I'm getting, and I know exactly that if I just had to go out there tomorrow, like in a few hours, I'd put this on my feet because I'm like, I'm not looking for something super fast. I just want to get through this. It's a good shoe that I can be comfortable in for hours. I've also worn this as a walking shoe for like 8-9 hours.
Solid walking shoe.
Feet are great. And so that's where I'm going, okay,
what actually be my favorite walking shoe right now?
Yeah, what
running shoe that can be a walking shoe. Sorry, don't mean to cut you off. But
what shoe can I handle just being on my feet for that long? And the Kayano is definitely a top one for me personally, especially if you have stability needs. If you don't have stability needs, there's probably some better options for you. The Nimbus 27, not to make this an ASIC segment, but the Nimbus 27 is also a really good one. Although some people think have said it's heavy. I really enjoy doing long runs in that shoe. It's a great shoe.
I think most of the shoes that we're going to pick, though, are going to have a little bit of weight to them, right?
Yeah.
Like in this category, they're going to be more buffed up trainers that are a little bit more plush and rhythmic anyways, right?
Yeah, that weight never bothered me, though. I was like, it was such a smooth shoe. I loved it.
Yeah.
So just 2 examples. What else you got?
Yeah, so I'll just not ruffle feathers yet. So the first one...
we're saving that. Okay.
I'm saving it.
All right.
I will say, though, if I had to just go scootle a marathon right now...
Save it.
I'll probably choose that shoe, but I'm not going to say it yet.
Do you want to talk about it now? Should we just pull off the Band-Aid?
You tell me. You're the one that wanted this.
Fine. Let's do this. This is not my choice, but David...
He's trying to bait me into this.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the On Cloud Boom Max. And I feel like this is a polarizing shoe amongst the community. People either love it or hate it. Most of our team loves it, by the way. Klein's really the only one that...
I'm the only one that doesn't like this shoe. I think I understand why, but go. Why would you choose this shoe? Even other than the fact that this group is literally who this shoe has been designed for.
Yeah. It is a weird shoe. The On Cloud Boom Max. Now, they market it as a super shoe for everyone.
Yep.
I don't love the coinage of super shoe in this situation.
Nope.
If they said it's a premium trainer for those that want to be on their feet forever, yeah, I'll go for that. It doesn't feel that super on your feet.
No.
What it does feel is like it's basically got a top layer of Helion HF, which is the racing super foam. It feels like it's tuned a little bit. It doesn't feel the same, to me at least, as the other Helion HF, but it is still plush and bouncy. However, you have that Cloud Tech layer underneath. That kills the bounce a little bit. And it just feels very structured. So you get this kind of like slight give to it, and this shoe just really likes to just shuffle. And That's like the best way I could say it. Like I've tried to run faster in this shoe. It doesn't feel that great running fast. And Bach and I talk about it sometimes where we're like, it almost feels like the slower you go, like the nicer it feels. And it's got a beautiful upper. Like it's really well done. It locks down well. It's airy. It's wide. It's got volume. Like I feel like this is one of the better uppers of the year so far.
That's fair.
And it's just comfortable, right? And I feel like it lines up with my mechanics well to where I can just shuffle, like literally just shuffle like slow running miles and enjoy those miles and kind of forget that I have something on my foot. With that said, it's a little bit heavier. It's a plush shoe. There's a lot going on. I think with you, I was thinking about this actually, because I think with where the heel's beveled, it feels like there's a slight inferior translation there where it just feels like there's a little speed bump there. And I feel like if you're a little bit more aggressive on that heel, you might just clink that thing where I'm not as aggressive on it. And I feel like it works really well for me. And then I just roll right into that forefoot. The forefoot's not crazy rocker. There is a plate in it, but it's just kind of a nice gradual, steady rocker. There's a tiny bit of flex to it, but it's overall a relatively stiff shoe. It's just nice and rhythmic.
Is this glass fiber? What's the plate? It's not a carbon plate, correct? It goes really long though. You can see it on the poster aspect.
It's a full length plate. I'm not sure. I thought it was some kind of carbon fiber.
We'll have to get checked on that. But
I could check right now in the meantime.
That's what it feels like to me running. It feels like if I hit the heel, there's a speed bump there. And just, again, for the wide foot fam out there, the upper is phenomenal. We love wide toe boxes. It is great. It's got great room. It's super comfortable on foot. If you need a little bit more volume, a little more width, it's a really, really good option. It just, I think for what I'm feeling underfoot, for $230, yes, I know it's on. Yes, I know they charge a premium price. I was expecting a lot more out of the midsole. The rear foot's really clunky for me. I think part of that's also there's this really large amount of lateral heel flare that I'm just hitting, and it's just thrusting me inwards. I'm going to stay it here first.
Glass fiber. Sorry.
Glass fiber. Yeah. Okay. The heel is stable. I will give them that, both medially and laterally.
It's very stable
right?
heel. That is a structured heel.
Massive sidewall. The lateral flare stops excessive supination. That midfoot though, it like right after the heel, it's gone. It's just the midfoot narrows. I feel myself collapsing over it. The forefoot, for whatever reason, also doesn't feel that centered or stable to me. Just because I feel like I do collapse off the medial side. So I think for heel is good. I think others, you gotta want a firmer shoe. So you guys got to know be willing to spend $230 for a wider shoe, but it's not what I would choose.
Odd firm though. It's like a plush firm.
Yeah.
Like it has give to it. It's not super compliant though.
I just don't like it. I want something that transitions a little better, a little smoother, a little bit like softer if I'm going to go that long in it. I did one long run in it. My feet hurt a lot after that, but hey, the rest of the team loves this shoe. So it's not on my list. It's on everybody else's list, but that's what it was designed for.
The conflicting part for that shoe is I don't think there's that much versatility in going fast or even a little up tempo.
I did try to do a workout in it and it was not fun.
Yeah. Like even doing strides and trying to get it going, I just couldn't. Mm-mm. But like if I had like no reason to pick up the pace and I was just running easy miles, not a care in the world at the pace, that could probably be a shoe of the year for me right now.
That's fair.
So it's a weird one, right? Like where it's like if I'm getting daily train like a daily trainer where I'm just like that is strictly miles, and I'm just going to lock in and do that, then it might be worth the price. But if you want a little bit more out of it, I don't know if that price tag will match the versatility of some other shoes that are out there.
Right.
That'll bring me to like the next one here where the other shoe that I kind of think of in the same lens a little bit, we both have the shoe ready, is the Nike Vomero Plus.
Yep.
Zoom X, 45, 44, 43 millimeters of stack, whatever. It's high.
Yeah, something up there. Yeah.
It's in like the low 9-ounce range, right? So it's definitely lighter. This one,
I think it's just under 10 ounce. You might have to check beyond that, but it's lighter than the Vomero. It's not the lightest.
No, you're right. You're right. It's low 10. Yeah. 10.2 ounces in my men's 9.5.
Wait,
I remember from doing the video.
Yeah. Cause they like the men's size 9 weights just a little bit under 10, I think, but
So sorry about that. Got my specs wrong for a second, but yeah, no, it's nice. It's more compliant. So like that soft feeling is actually in this shoe. Like it's not like, is this soft? It's cushioned, but is it soft? Like, no, it is pretty soft. It has some give to it. It's a rockered shoe. It's got a good outsole, wide base, plush upper, easy shuffling shoe. Again, not as good at going fast, but it's better at going fast than the Cloudboom Maxes.
Yeah.
And it's also at a lower price point, being at $180. I got to start looking at things, as we get towards the end of the year on my awards and stuff, because I think I like the ride of the Cloudboom Max more for easy, but I get more out of the Vomero Plus, and it's not that much of a step down, in terms of how smooth the ride is at easy paces. So, but that's another one that I think you start looking at when you're looking at 4-hour marathons and beyond, something that's got a good amount of cushion. It transitions well, it breathes well, it will accommodate foot swelling. There's plenty of volume and space. Like, I feel like it checks pretty much. I think so. I think it's got some volume in there.
I think for me, the toe box fits a little bit more like tapered and snug. So yeah, I think there's a tiny bit of volume in there, but I think if this is not the wide foot shoe, I don't know if this comes
not as much as the Cloudboom Max, but I think it's got enough.
This is more of your normal foot width kind of shoe, but I totally agree with you on.
But it's got volume.
Yeah, the Zoom X foam is really nice. I've done a lot of long runs in this shoe. I feel like I shouldn't be able to do long runs in this shoe because it shouldn't be stable enough, but I've somehow survived in this. It's definitely not a stability shoe, and it's been a great shoe for a variety of mostly like easy long run bases. But again, long runs have been great, and durability is also killer. This is my size. This is at 100 miles, and this is my left shoe that I normally rip up, and the outsole's still intact, which I ripped the Vomero 18's outsole off at like 40 miles just because it wasn't full ground contact. So get your money's worth, get a full season of training and a marathon potentially in it. It's doing really well. So it should have a 100-mile review up pretty soon because I shot that. But yeah, so what do you got for number 3?
Yeah, so the last one, it's going to be just a collective answer here. Pick your favorite daily trainer. So I'm just holding up 3 trainers that are all pretty solid that I like. I don't think they're not all my favorite trainers per se, but we've got the ASICS Nova Blast there, 41.5 stack, basic, lightweight daily trainer. A lot of people run marathons in them for a reason. Saucony ride, comfortable upper, fits well, good durable shoe, foam, nice rhythmic daily training shoe. You're probably running in this, if you're in that 4-hour crowd, you're probably racing in the shoe that you normally run in anyways. So just pick in like a daily trainer. The other one's the Hoka Bondi. Just nice, basic transitions, high stack, rockered shoe. Nothing, crazy to report about it, but it's just reliable, right? So that's kind of what I'm thinking on that end. And then the Glycerin Max. Oh no.
It wasn't.
I don't think.
I don't know if I could run.
I don't think I could run more than 10 miles in that.
Dude, I ran lots of long runs in this shoe. Again, really durable, really nice cushion
That's
shoe.
a me problem though. That's
super good.
That's not the shoe.
Super good long mileage shoe. I would encourage you though, like we said last year, because this is last year's model, is to do a half size up to adjust because it does fit a little bit short. But I love this shoe for long miles and being on your feet for a long time. As again, another also super comfortable walking shoe as well that just could handle, being on your feet for really long periods. So that's another one to think about. More cushion. Again, just to consider, just be aware of the fit. So really what it comes down to in this category of being in that 4, 5, 6 hour range is you want a shoe that is really your daily trainer, right? You want that shoe to be the one that you're used to being on your feet in for long periods of time. You want something that's really comfortable because you don't want the lightest possible mesh because those meshes, I promise you from personal experience, is eventually going to rip your skin off. And that has happened to me with some of these, super racers going, I don't want to be wearing this for super long periods of time. And so given the paces and speeds you're going, having some better cushioning, a shoe you trust, and it's got a really comfortable upper, maybe a little bit more room. I think having a little higher volume, like David mentioned, it's going to be better because your feet will swell. Like the volume of a shoe of your foot is going to change drastically for 2.5 hours versus 5 hours. It's going to be very different because of the amount of pounding and the physical stress on the foot over that time. Get a little bit more room. Make sure that you're comfortable with that fit because if it's too narrow, it's too snug, that's going to be problematic. So that's our group. Are you any other comments before we move on to the final section, which is going to
I
be,
think we covered it.
yeah, what would you call this group?
What's that?
The like your sub 3 hour, you're going like, again, lots of people in the other categories may be going for this. And that's where these, you can obviously wear some of the shoes we're going to talk about, but like you're looking for the lightest, fastest thing possible to get you through a lot of these marathon races. So what would you call this group?
So like roughly the sub 3 group.
Yeah. Sub 3, 245,
sub 240, yeah.
230, 215. Like you're really hitting the pavement and you're putting some speed on. You're running usually pretty hard. It must be nice for people that run easy 230s, but that some people do that for their training, not us. But yeah, so this is you're starting to think really about efficiency, super lightweight, probably going to be thinking carbon plated. David, what are you going to be looking for if you're going for your PR effort? For you, it should be like the 220s.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is it still comes down to trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you want a responsive platform, of course, something that can respond to the pace and the effort that you're putting down, because it is a big one. But you want it to be something that you trust. And as of right now, there's nothing I trust more for that than the Endorphin Elite 1 for me personally. Yep. That could change. I'm just not in the shape to do it right now, but I really like the ASICS Metaspeed Edge Tokyo. I don't see why I can't run a marathon in it. I just have to try it, right? I just haven't done anything long enough. So someone's got to get me off my butt and go run some fast and long runs. But that would be something you look at. Pretty much any super shoe on the market, honestly. I mean, that's why they're there. So the other things I have are like the Nike Vaporfly here, the Saucony Endorphin Elite 2. Responsive racing shoes, not always the most stable though, right? Like, so you got to ask yourself that question of like, can I actually handle this? When I look at the Vaporfly here, that's a pretty narrow midfoot. It's a very fun shoe to go fast in, but for me, I start to fight myself after a while. Once I get tired, I kind of need a little bit more there. Fast forward, Endorphin Elite 2, it's got more there, but it's really soft and compliant, and there's give to it torsionally. Like, probably not my choice, right? So you got to go and find something that lines up with your mechanics that you like. This is probably the closest thing right now that's come out this year. This being the Edge Tokyo that I'm holding up from ASICS, Metaspeed Edge Tokyo. But Endorphin Elite 1 was tried and true. That was my marathon shoe. I've run a couple in it. It's where my PR is. It's kind of home for me at this point for that distance, but I mean, I don't even know if you can still buy that on regular retail or not. I'd have to look.
You can definitely, for those of you that are interested, I'm going to let the secret out. You can totally find lots of pairs on eBay. So they're still out there.
I don't think that's a secret by this point. Yeah. Anyone who's listening.
Anybody who listens knows I mentioned that. Yeah, got it.
But I think you just got to try it out and see if it responds to the forces you're putting in. Does it line up with your mechanics? And does it line up with your mechanics when you're further in? Battle test it, right? Like when we talked about earlier, I made that decision to run in the Endorphin Elite 1 within the month of getting it. There was also a 90-minute at 5:45 pace workout that I did where it was like, okay, that's pretty close to marathon simulation, right? Like what would that be? 234, 233, something like that?
Yeah.
So like, that's pretty good. I think I felt good enough to be like, okay, yeah, I liked it for that. I feel good.
Yep.
I'm in one piece, not overly sore anywhere. It lined up with my mechanics. Let's do it.
Yep. That makes sense.
So there was an educated leap there, but I wouldn't have just blindly just done it because it's the latest and greatest in quotes, so.
That's where some of my choices I think are going to come in again. And they're not always the latest and the greatest. It's the shoes that I know I can trust because I've done long runs in them. Many of them I've done pretty hard long runs and long run workouts trying to keep up with my wife, who it was a professional marathoner and continues to compete at a good level. But I'm going to have stability in mind. And so my tried and true, I haven't run a marathon. I actually haven't run a marathon in any true super shoe, actually. So mine were all done in like the OG Skechers
Speed Elite. That counted for the time.
Nah, not fully. Wait, do I still? No, I don't have it out here. But I had the first one was in a prototype. The second one, no, the first marathon was in the Razor. The second marathon, the 232, was in a Speed Elite prototype. And then the third marathon was in the official Speed Elite. So yeah, I haven't run a marathon in anything but Skechers, apparently. But if I had to do that now and I was in better shape, one of the top shoes would be the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4. And the reason for this is it is one of the few stable neutral racers out there. I've done a good number of half marathons. I ran the Alpha Fly 3 with Isabella on the stroller for a recent one. And I don't think I could have gone farther, also because I took the heel off and it came off. So I need something that's also durable. But it started to wobble a little bit toward the end with it being so soft. I know this shoe. I know it's stable enough. The sidewalls, the way it's designed, as it's broken in. It's just a good shoe that I can trust for long runs. Is it the most aggressive shoe out there? Absolutely not. And that's probably the why, because I know with the higher volume fit, I know that my foot's going to be able to swell in this shoe. I'm not going to have any issues. And it's still going to be comfortable for me after multiple hours, being in this and trying to run hard. Can it still move? Absolutely. Does it do really, really well for all out track stuff? Like Andrea said, no, but it does really well for tempo efforts, long runs, and long tempos. And that's where it shines. So that's going to be one of my top ones, even though it's not the newest model. Probably the second one that I'm going to choose is another one that might be surprising. Definitely not the fastest shoe, but it's one that I've learned to trust over a lot of long runs and a lot of up-tempo long runs, is the New Balance SC Elite version 5. Once that forefoot plate has broken in, the wider forefoot and that forefoot medial flare just stabilized me enough that I've been totally fine over 14, 15 miles, again, with the extra stress of pushing a stroller. The midfoot hasn't bothered me too much, although I start to feel it just a little bit with some longer efforts, but just because the way the sole is designed, it's not the most aggressive thing. There's a mechanism there that does work for me. This one, it has a little lateral bias. It's another one, especially the upper is so comfortable too. A little wider forefoot, lighter mesh. I know it's going to swell a little bit more cushion. That's the other one that's going to be a top one. And I wish I could say the Metaspeed Sky Tokyo. It's a really comfortable shoe. I just can't confirm it because I haven't been able to take it for that long, because I'm honestly a little scared. Like even the Edge Paris, which I did a lot of fast 5Ks in, I don't know if I would take it that long, because I just think my mechanics would be able to handle that. I think a lot of other people, though, this will be fine. But ironically, something that has really surprised me recently, especially with an irritated Achilles and then doing some workouts in it, and feels good no matter how surprisingly long I've run, is going to be this Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 3. Even though it's listed as a low drop, it feels a lot higher drop. And so if I wanted to not fatigue as much, this shoe has actually done really well and is more stable than I thought it was going to be. Not stable neutral, but definitely a shoe that going, hey, if I'm going out there for what I'm going to be doing over a marathon distance, and I want to have some consistency and hang on, I'm actually going to choose this shoe. And so I would not have originally done that, but it's been growing on me, because again, everything half marathon down, probably going to be the Metaspeed Sky Tokyo, to be honest, and a few other shoes that we've got right now that I'm looking forward to trying. But yeah, those would be my picks, because again, are they the absolute fastest shoes out there? No, right? A lot of those I definitely wouldn't choose for 5K, 10K. Half marathon and marathon is where that starts to change, because there's my mechanics trying to go for a PR effort. I need something that's inherently more stable, and that's where it's going to be. Are they still super shoes? Yeah, they're all super shoes, because I'm still looking for the fastest thing, the lightest thing that's going to work for my mechanics. But David and I are going to be a little bit different, especially when David's in really, really, really good shape. Yeah, I can totally see you cracking out the Metaspeed. That was Edge Paris?
Edge Tokyo. Yeah, I think Tokyo, I would, sorry. Honestly. Yeah. I'm just not in shape at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where I could see it happening. Yep. I just,
and all
right now.
Yeah. And all these shoes were designed specifically for that, right? They were designed looking at faster paces, looking at the 230, 220, 210, below. I know the Vaporfly you held up was probably done for that. That's not a shoe I would take, because for me, I feel like it's firmer than the last version. I wouldn't. The midfoot's too narrow. I think it's a great half marathon below. Have I seen a lot of people run the marathon for it? Yeah. I hope they've done well. It's just not personally a shoe that I would take. And I think Nike's in a better job of stratifying the Alpha Fly versus Vaporfly versus the Streak Fly 2 now, where the Streak Fly is like your mile 5K. That's going to be a great 10K, 5K to half marathon. Alpha Fly is going to be the half marathon, and beyond. But this is not a Nike review. Hopefully that gave you some view into this. And again, I think the thing that's kind of key is that all the shoes that we're testing, even though these are super shoes for this category, they're still tried and true. They're still shoes that we have done marathon type workouts in. We've done long runs in, and we'd be able to survive and not walk away, destroyed because we know, okay, I've got more confidence. I can finish in them. Are they more aggressive? Yes. Are they appropriate for everybody? No, because you also have to have the experience and the speed to be able to adequately use the shoe. If you're not putting the right amount of force in at the right direction, you're not going to get the most out of the shoe, and you just spend a bunch of money on a shoe that's not honestly optimizing you, and it may be uncomfortable at a certain point. None of these shoes are shoes that I would wear for 4 or 5 hours, to be totally honest, right? That's where some of those other shoes, especially, the ones we talked about, the daily training shoes, some of those lightweight trainers, those are going to be better options. So you just have to find not only what works for you, but also think about, again, is this shoe really designed for where you are in terms of your pacing, your speed, your experience, all those kind of things. It's not a bad thing to not wear a super shoe. I haven't worn any one of these shoes for the last 3 weeks because I'm like, you know what? Actually, this would probably take some pressure off it might take some pressure off my Achilles tendon, but I don't want that because I want to adequately rehab this and I want to go to a normal trainer and go, how am I actually doing, and not overstress it. Because with a lot of tendon injuries, this is off topic, you can definitely, when you start going faster, that's one of the things that really tends to irritate them. And these shoes make it really easy to go faster, which isn't necessarily good for a healing tendon. So again, figure out what's appropriate for you. This is not going to match to everyone. This is just a guide to go, hey, here's how we approach this. Here's how we're thinking about this. We hope you learn something from it. Not everybody's going to match in it. And what's going to work for you is going to be completely different probably than the person next to you. But we hope you can at least learn something about going, here's where these shoes are kind of designed. Here's what you might want to think about. And as maybe you move through the categories or you move through experience, you discover it's more comfortable for you, for sure, upgrade and update, but take your time, enjoy the models, and really make sure that you're going to get to that finish line, because if you don't finish, the time doesn't count. So you can find us on a variety of different platforms, whether you're listening to this on Spotify, iTunes, or any of the audio platforms. Or you can also find this live on, not live, but you can find the video on YouTube and a variety of other areas. We also have lots of content coming out across a variety of different platforms. The OG platform is always going to be the website where we do all of our written reviews, but you can also find us doing some interesting stuff on YouTube where we talk about a variety of other topics. And of course, you can see these weekly podcasts on that. Please let us know, as always, if you have any questions, and please let us know if this is helpful, because we do this for you. We all have our own jobs. We are at least one job. This is something we do on the side because we are running. We want to help you and figure out what works best for you, because there's no magic shoe. The goal is to help you figure out what works best for you, because that's part of the art and the science of talking about what is on our feet.